Hello everyone, Grandpa Ron here again. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to get back into our very basic Bible study and continue with Genesis chapter 23. In chapter 22, we know how God tested Abraham and told him to offer up his son, but then came up with a substitution at the last minute. We saw how Abraham was faithful, unquestioning, unhesitant. So his life lessons had taught him to trust God, that God is holy, He's going to do the right thing. He's just and merciful, and God proved him right. And so Abraham had to have come down off of that sacrificial mountain with great joy and happiness, as of course Isaac, since he had been spared. And they shared these things with the family and the clan, and so all was good. So now we're going to look at chapter 23. Now Sarah lived 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah. So Sarah lived a full life. She lived to see God's promise, gave birth to Isaac. But now we're going to see some changes in the clan. So Sarah lived 127 years. Verse 2, and Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went up to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Verse 3, then Abraham rose from before his dead and spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner among you. Give me a burial site among you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. Now remember, God had promised Abraham and Sarah a son when it seemed impossible, because they were both, Sarah was barren, and Abraham, we can infer that he was having some problems as well. But in God's time, He provided the promise of a son. And He promised he'd be the seed of great nations. He also promised some land that we call today the Promised Land. But Abraham, we're going to see, never lives to see that. It's for his posterity, for generations to come. And there's going to be some other things that God told him about that are going to come to pass. And so even though Abraham is in the land that in the future will be the land that was promised to him, right now he has no land, he has no property, doesn't even have a place to bury his wife. But we're going to see a transaction occur here where he's going to actually purchase a piece of property within the promised land, and it's almost like a little toehold, a little piece. I guess you could say symbolic of what's going to happen in the future when they inherit the whole land. Verse 5, and the sons of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, hear us, my lord, you are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our graves. None of us will refuse you his grave for burying your dead. So Abraham had become powerful, I guess you could say, and prosperous, and he was respected among the people in the land. And they're telling him, bury your dead wherever you want. Verse 7, so Abraham rose and bowed to the people of the land, the sons of Heth, and he spoke with them, saying, if it is your wish for me to bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and approach Ephron, the son of Zohar, for me, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns. which is at the end of his field. For the full price let him give it to me in your presence for a burial site. In other words, go to this man, tell him I want to purchase this particular piece of property for a burial site. Verse 10, Now Ephron was sitting among the sons of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the sons of Heth, even all who went in at the gate of his city, saying, No, my Lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. In the presence of the sons of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead. Well, we're going to see as this progresses that he really didn't mean I'm going to give it to you. This was a kind of a bargaining right, a bargaining technique and tradition. And so we're going to see an exchange here where they actually eventually culminates in the purchase of the property. Verse 12, And Abraham bowed before the people of the land, and he spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, If you will only please listen to me, I will give you the price of the field. Accept it from me, that I may bury my dead there. Then Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, My Lord, listen to me. A piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver, what is that between me and you? So bury your dead. Aha, so the price comes out. Pretty high price. As I've learned. So he's not doing Abraham any big favors here. It's not going to be a gift or a bargain. It's a hefty price. Verse 16, And Abraham listened to Ephron, and Abraham weighed out for Ephron the silver which he had named in the hearing of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, commercial standard. So Abraham, I don't know if he expected a bargain, but he didn't get a bargain, but he knew he was going to buy that property. Verse 17, So Ephron's field, which was in Machpelah, which faced Mamre, the field and cave which was in it, and all the trees which were in the field that were within all the confines of its border, were deeded over to Abraham for a possession in the presence of the sons of Heth, before all who went in at the gate of his city. An interesting note I saw from a commentator that mentions details here. These details, the Bible's rich with details, and sometimes they seem insignificant to us, but I find it fascinating that it really enhances the authenticity of the Bible, these little details. And one is that in those times you couldn't sell a piece of property that didn't have a couple of trees on it. And the reason was you needed something to establish boundaries. We didn't have surveying like we do today, but rocks and stones can be moved, but trees are kind of a permanent landmark, and they would serve as points of reference for establishing boundaries and things. So when it says, and all the trees which were in the field, that's actually a little more significant than we realize. So in front of all the witnesses, Abraham now owns this little piece of property in the future promised land. Verse 19, And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah facing Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So the field and the cave that is in it were deeded over to Abraham for a burial site by the sons of Heth. And we're going to see later on that this property is used on other occasions as well. In fact, Abraham, Isaac, Rebekah, Leah, and Jacob are all going to wind up being buried in that property. So here we see in this chapter, Sarah's passing on, Abraham buying this property that we're going to see again and again later on in the Bible. And next time we're going to continue with a chapter that talks about the marriage of Isaac. Quite a miraculous process for finding a wife for him. So we look forward to that. Anyway, I hope this has been meaningful to you and encouragement. And God bless you. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.